our team.
Would you consider what happened at Texas A&M any type of policy?
I think it's unfortunate. What happened. I can't really comment on it. I don't know that much about it. I don't Twitter. I don't text for those very reasons. I don't want anything to be misinterpreted. I would encourage our guys not to do that, but it's a free country, and I know we have a lot of regulations in the world right now on what we can and can't do, but I would rather our people be responsible and not have to be regulated.
How much does not having a replacement yet for Bo Davis inhibit your recruiting right now, and what are you kind of doing there?
Well, how long is it till signing date?
Yeah, wow.
How long?
Like 8, 9 months, 10 months.
Yeah, like 10 months? I think that's plenty of time for us to get somebody in place and recruit, know who's going to be their coach and all that.
Coach, were you surprised by the NCAA's decision to flip-flop on the satellite camps?
No, I think there's arguments on both sides as to whether the satellite camps are beneficial or not beneficial. And I think the people made a decision, and we'll participate in a way that we think we can to benefit the players and our program.
Coach, what is your assessment of having a neutral site game against a Power 5 opponent as that first game? Do you think it helps the coaches and players focus during the summer a little better than it would be, say, if you just played a regular, whatever?
Well, we've done it for 7 out of the last 9 years. We had a home and home with Penn State mixed thing there at one time, but we've always had a neutral site game. We try to, schedule somebody that's a really good team. I think it does impact the off-season in terms of your players' focus. You get ready to play a big game first. It affects your summer conditioning. It affects your fall camp. So I think it's something that we've always thought was a good thing to participate in. The consequences can be detrimental, but I think that our focus is on how do we develop our team and how can we have the best team that we can have, and I think playing a good opponent early certainly helps you do that.
How do you manage having multiple quarterbacks, 4 scholarship quarterbacks, and keeping them from probably wanting to transfer while keeping them at that position?
Well, we're giving everybody a fair opportunity, and everybody knows they're getting a fair opportunity, and I think somebody has got to take the bull by the horns and sort of win the team over. So I think somebody has to do that. That's not something I can make happen. That's not something I can do for them. And hopefully they're all committed to their team and happy at the University of Alabama and continue to compete in that regard.
When you had your end of spring, sit down with the quarterbacks, what did you address to them, and what did you say you wanted to see by the time they got back on campus?
Well, I think the big thing that I cautioned them about was, are you really focused on what you need to do to be a quarterback and to be a successful quarterback by making good choices and decisions? And I don't want you to focus and look over your shoulder at who you're competing against all the time, which sometimes can affect how you compete. You're worried about the other guy rather than worrying about what you do, and I want them to focus on what they need to do to be successful.
2 more.
Nick, how important is this period between the off-season workout and building leadership and stuff like that before?
Well, I think right now we're in finals week this week. This will, most of our guys will finish up. Graduation is tomorrow. We have 7 or 8 guys graduating tomorrow. We had 23 guys in December, so we're really happy and proud about the way our players have done a good job in that regard. But the next 3 weeks, the players, it's kind of their downtime. It's kind of their off time. It's kind of where they go home and it's their vacation before we can come back. And what I try to emphasize to the players is it is your downtime. It is time for you to relax, but you can still grow. It doesn't mean you have to work out every day. It doesn't mean you have to kill yourself, but you can still grow in terms of how you think, the choices and decisions that you make in terms of what's going to benefit you in being a better competitor and a better player next year. So that's kind of where we are right now. I think the summertime, when they come back after Memorial Day, is certainly a time when leadership has a chance to flourish because the coaches aren't around as much. The coaches aren't allowed to be out there when they're working out. So that's something that that's a time when leadership is certainly has the opportunity to flourish.
Okay, last
Coach,
one.
Coach, you talk about leadership. Coach, you talk about leadership. I had a chance to actually interview one of your old teammates, Richard Oden, who happens to be our Rockdale County chairman. On that Kent State team, it had you, it had Jack Lambert, it had the Missouri coach, Gary Pinckney. What was it about Coach James that kind of shaped you as being a leader?
Well, I don't think there's any question about the fact that my high school coach and Coach James, who was my college coach, probably impacted me as much as anything or anybody as a person, as a player, as a professional. I'd have never got in coaching if it wasn't for Coach James. I had no inkling or intentions of being a coach, and he actually asked me to be a GA, and I had to kind of stick around because Terry had another year of school, so I reluctantly decided to be a GA for 1 year, and I was going to go do something else. And you know, it's 40-some years later, and I'm still standing here. So I never felt like I was going to work for a day. So I've always been indebted to him for some of the character, attitude, things that he helped build in me, and the lessons that I learned and how he did it to help others. And I think was probably one of the people who should be considered as one of the greatest college coaches of all time. I think we do that sometimes based on the results gotten, but I think sometimes the circumstance that you're in and the schools that you coach at should be a consideration relative to the success that you had. And Coach James certainly had an awful lot of success with an awful lot of people.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Good, Chris.